New construction here in Sarasota has become more popular than ever before. So in this YouTube series, and specifically this episode, we are going to be talking about some of the major costs that are associated with building a new construction house actually during the new construction process. Because at the end of the day, you know, if you guys have watched our other videos talking about construction loans versus end loans, there's a lot of different costs that are associated, but we just talked about the end costs, you know, closing costs and stuff like that. So in this episode, we have brought Manny on once again to talk about the costs that a buyer pays during the construction of their home that a lot of people actually get caught off guard by. And in fact, there's three different costs that are associated during the new construction process that everyone needs to be aware of before they sign a contract with a builder.
Absolutely.
So once again, Manny, thank you very much for hopping on this episode with us. Do you want to kind of overview and talk about, you know, some of those major costs associated with building new construction?
Absolutely. It's important to know your costs, especially during the construction phase. But and they vary. You know, different lenders have different programs. But your standard and your typical is typically it's going to be a few costs affiliated. It's first and foremost is your earnest money. Your earnest money is your skin in the game. It's typically 1%. I mean, that's typically what the builders will charge, and obviously that's so they draw up the contracts and they know that you're committed and both sides are now committed. So that'll be your first cost, and then your second cost is the appraisal. The appraisal typically goes to the lender as a third party. The lender will collect the charge, and that charge can vary. Appraisals vary depending on the type of house. Okay. If you're dealing with a jumbo house or a jumbo loan, and for in layman's terms, that's just pretty much a house that is higher than the conforming loan limit per county. So I think in Sarasota right now, our loan limits just went up for a single family home. If you're buying something above 715, or your loan amount, not even the purchase price, your loan amount is over 715, well, that's considered a jumbo. Okay. So you're going to have two appraisals versus one appraisal. Okay. And typically those are about $1,000 each.
Okay, each.
And when you're on the conforming side, the appraisal will probably be around $500, give or take. So those are probably your second one. And then obviously depending on the type of program that you choose, or your lender helps you choose, most of the times it'll be an interest-only product. Right. So typically you'll be paying interest throughout the construction period, and typically that's done on the installments. Usually it takes about 12 months to build a house, and usually the lender and the builder agree upon 7 different installments, 7 different payouts, 7 different draws. So you will pay interest only on that draw. Just to keep it simple, if you have a $700,000 house, you're probably going to have 7 installments. They're going to be at around $100K a pop, and you're going to pay interest only on that $100,000 throughout the duration of the construction.
Gotcha. So you're not really paying the interest on the whole entire $700K loan. For example, the first installment's $100K. You're only paying interest on the $100K.
Correct.
Then you have the second installment that brings it up to $200K. Correct. You're paying interest on that other $100K. Correct. And it just keeps going on from there until the loan is closed to and it changes to a permanent loan.
And then you when it's within completion, when there's a certificate of occupancy issued, then you can convert into a fixed rate traditional mortgage, which you have a conversion fee for that, but that's already factored in your closing costs. That's not going to be out of pocket.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So I think that a lot of people do have a lot of misconceptions about, you know, what they're actually paying for during the new construction process. Obviously, we, you know, as builders, we have to take installments in terms of, you know, the different things. You know, for example, you know, once concrete's poured, then a new installment will happen so that you can bring up everything else. Correct. Then you have your MEPs, which is your mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. Right. And then you'll get another installment. So anything during the major construction process. And, you know, at least here in the state of Northport, for example, and now that varies, you know, Sarasota County is pretty relative, is that we have about 33 to 34 different inspections on building a house. So we try to get them done, you know, as tight as possible so that we can have 4 inspections done in one day or whatever that may be, so that we can get moving forward and then get another installation payment so that we can keep moving forward on the build of the process. So let's talk about those installments really quick. So what justifies, you know, the bank lending out the other, for example, $100K for an installment? Where is the fine line, or what are the requirements for those installments?
That's a great question. So for a lender to release the next installment, the consumer and the builder everybody involved in the transaction is pretty protected.
Yep.
And what I mean by that is if it doesn't pass inspection, we can't move on to the second phase.
Gotcha.
No money will be released unless the lender knows that the inspection has been passed.
Right.
Then they'll release the second, third round, and so on.
So that really helps protect, the consumer from the builder taking out all the installments, and then the consumer has to pay interest on, for example, all that $700K for that versus $100K here, $100K there, and everything like that.
Correct.
So at the end of the day, installments are not just on the whole loan; it's on those the individual installments.
You have timelines,
Yep.
absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay.
Absolutely.
So just to recap, you have your installment, your interest only. Then you have your what are the other two?
You have your earnest money, which that's typically your first one, and your appraisal.
Yep.
And keep in mind that sometimes you can have more than one appraisal, depending on the type of home that you're building.
Gotcha. Okay. So as you guys can see, there's three major different things that you guys got to look out for during the construction process, and actually three different kinds of costs that are associated with the new construction before you even close on your brand new home. So as you guys can see, that there are some costs that are associated with building new construction here in Sarasota, and I guess really in the greater Sarasota area. That you guys have to be aware of, during the construction process and what the costs are associated with that. So thank you very much, Manny, for popping on this episode and taking some time out of your busy day to go over those costs that are associated. So if you guys are looking to build new construction, as you guys know, or if you guys have been watching our YouTube channel for long enough, you know that, my whole, I very specifically feature new construction, building new construction, the financing side of new construction. As you guys know, I am partnered in a development company here in Sarasota where we build custom houses for individual consumers. We build spec houses for investors as well. And we're really trying to solve the affordable housing issue here in Sarasota County and trying to figure out new construction materials that are actually more durable than concrete and wood. So if you guys want to know more about that, stay tuned because we will be releasing more of those episodes on building with cold frame steel and not building with your traditional wood and block, as it is a lot more stronger than wood and block combined. So if you guys did find interest in this and you guys want to know more about the new construction process, make sure that you guys go and check out the rest of the videos in this mini YouTube series about the new construction process and kind of overviewing what to be aware of when it comes time to build a new construction house. But once again, Manny, thank you very much, and we will catch you guys all next week.